The law of cosines is a law used when you have two versions of a triangle. You have side angle side, which says that your angle falls between. So like side C, angle A, side B. So what you notice about all three of these is that they don't have anything in common. Okay, and that's kind of the clue, is that none of your sides and angles would ever match up. So you could have side B, angle C, side A, angle B, side C. Okay, none of them have true pairs. So the law of cosines is a law that takes that into account and allows us to solve a triangle when we don't have any connecting pairs. Now the other way that you could solve a triangle using law of cosines is if you've just simply been given the three side measures and you have to be able to find the angle measures. Okay, the law of cosines allows you to do that. So the easiest way to work with the law of cosines is to pay extra close attention to the information you have. Choose one thing that you're trying to solve for and then solve for it. Be extra careful that your calculator is set in the proper mode. So if you're using a graphing calculator, you want to make sure that you've shifted back over to degrees. If you leave your calculator in radians, you're going to get some pretty funky answers. Okay. The other reason why we like to use law of cosines is because even though the law of sines is a much easier formula to work with, I mean, if you look at this formula, I mean, it's pretty irritatingly complicated formula. The law of sines have potential cases where you might have two solutions, and the law of cosines doesn't let that happen. Okay, so I've got a couple examples here that we're going to look at to be able to solve the law of cosines so you can see how this works. So the first one says solve the triangle, and all I've given you is three side lengths, and I didn't even give you a triangle to draw. So you have to draw it yourself. So we're going to go ahead and draw ourselves a triangle, which I highly recommend you do. And we're going to label it A, B, and C. And then we need to put in what we know. We know side A was 5. We know side B is 10, and we know side C is 7. So we have in SSS, or side, side, side triangle. So the first thing that we have to do is you just have to decide which angle do you want to solve for first. So let's go ahead and let's solve for angle A. So to do that says I have to use the formula that's going to give me angle A. So I'm going to use this top one. So my side of A squared equals the mess. So we're going to have A squared equals B squared plus C squared minus 2BC cosine of A. So we need to put in our information here. This becomes 5 squared equals 10 squared plus 7 squared minus 2 times 10 times 7 cosine of A, and simplify. 5 squared, 25, equals 100 plus 49 minus 140 cosine of A. Combine your like terms and we get negative 124 is equal to negative 140 cosine of A. So 0.8857. So I'm rounding to 4 decimal places just to give myself some extra room, but I'm going to keep this answer in my calculator as I go, is equal to the cosine of A. So in this case, we have to take the inverse. So we're going to have that A is equal to the inverse cosine of 0.8857, which is going to give us an angle of 27.66 degrees. Okay, angle A. I now need to do this exact same thing with one of my other angles. So I have B or C, so let's go ahead and use B. So just like to find A, this was A squared on the outside and cosine of A. Well, here it's going to be B squared is equal to A squared plus C squared minus 2AC, and this is going to be cosine of B. So we're going to do the same thing with my B, with all these terms to find B as we did to find A. So here we're going to end up with 10 squared is equal to 5 squared plus 7 squared minus 2 times 5 times 7 cosine of B. So we're going to go ahead and square and combine. So here we end up getting 26 is equal to negative 70 cosine of B. So we're going to have B is equal to the inverse cosine of negative 0.3714, which is going to give me 111.80 degrees. Now that we know two angles, we simply can find, so this is angle A, this was angle B, so angle C is going to be 180 minus 27.66 minus 111.80. So angle C is going to give us 40.54 degrees. And that's it. So we found angle B, angle A, and angle C. Alright, let's look at one more example here. Again, you need to draw yourself your triangle so that you can see what's going on. So we've got A, B, and C. And here we're telling you that C is 22.28 degrees. We're telling you A is 25.4 centimeters and B is 73.8 centimeters. Okay. So here I have side angle side. And so again, we're going to use the law of cosines. Okay. So the first thing that we could do is we could go ahead and use the fact that I know the cosine of C in order to find length C. So this says that we know C squared is equal to A squared plus B squared minus 2AB cosine of C. So in this case, C squared is the unknown. I have 25.4 squared plus 73.8 squared minus 2 times 25.4 times 73.8, and this is the cosine of 22.28. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and use your calculator to plug all this in. You're going to end up with equaling 2622.46. Remember to take the square root and you get that C is 51.2 centimeters. So here's your first result. So we found C, so now we need to find one of the other angles here. Let's go ahead and find A. So we have 25.4, we're going to square it, is equal to 73.8 squared plus the 51.2 squared minus 2 times 73.8 times 51.2 cosine of A. And this is going to be just like the problem we did before where the angle is missing and everything else is there. So we're going to get 645.16 is equal to 5446.44 plus 2621.44 minus 7557.12 cosine of A. So in this case, we're going to end up with 0.9822 equals the cosine of A. So angle A is going to be the cosine inverse of your decimal, which equals 10.82 degrees. Now we have two angles, so we can find the last. Angle B is found by taking your 180 minus your given 22.28 minus what you just found, 22.82. So angle B is going to be 146.90. So here's your second answer, angle A, and your third answer is angle B. Now, of course, to find this third one, instead of using the 180 rule, you could use the law of cosines to find angle B, and you can certainly do that to check your work. So there you have it. That is the two different examples using the law of cosines. The biggest advice I can give is once you start with one law, don't flip-flop back and forth, just kind of stick with it the whole way through. If you have any questions, please feel free to let me know. Otherwise, be creative, and I will see you next time.